welcome back to the Johnson Fitness and Wellness podcast. Today, I am privileged to be joined by Matt Jordan, the founder of Gym in a Tin and the Energy Coach. Matt, say hello.
Hello. Hi. How's it going?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. So let's just get straight into it. Can you start off by telling us a bit about your background and kind of how you became involved in designing spaces for fitness and wellness?
Yeah, so let's rewind about 16 years ago, when I was just coming up to 30, I retrained and became a personal trainer, worked in quite a few gyms, then set up my own business back about 10 years ago. Back when COVID struck, everyone was working outside. That's pretty much where you could train. So I took my equipment in the back of a pickup and did a lot of stuff outdoors. Knowing that I'd needed somewhere indoors, I decided to build my own gym using the frame of a shipping container.
Nice.
I've converted it into a gym and I've been using it ever since for my one-to-one, and I do two-to-one and some classes in there too. So
Nice.
fast forward to here we are now. I set up Gym in a Tin a couple of years ago, designing and building fitness spaces for using shipping containers.
Nice. So how long's Gym in a Tin been around?
2 years now. 2 years,
Nice.
quite an infancy. Yeah, it's when you're sort of got full-time responsibilities with your personal training clients, it's been one of those things bubbling away in the background for a little while now. So pleased to be really hitting it hard this year and hopefully growing the business.
Amazing. So
Mm.
obviously you say you've obviously got 16 years of experience kind of in the fitness world. In the sense of the home gym aspects, how have you seen that evolve over the last few years?
Yeah, I think it's gone. I think now it's a lot more about wellness. I think there are a lot more demographically, a lot more people are using home gym spaces now, whereas it would have been your garage gym guys 16 years
Mhm.
ago. Pretty much that's it, and then you'd have had some, without being too stereotypical. Um, you've had some of your DVDs, for your fitness
Yeah, of course.
DVDs.
Yeah.
So a garage
Do
gym or
you know
fitness
what? I
DVD.
grew up and my mum used to always have one of them like Davina McCall DVDs on the
Yeah,
TV, and she'd be in
yeah,
she'd be doing some sort of workout in the living room, and I'd be like, "What are you doing?" At
yeah,
the age of 8, like,
exactly.
"What are you doing?"
Yeah. That and We Fit, I guess.
Yeah, We Fit. Yeah, of course.
Um, and I think since most recently, since lockdown, I think it's really accelerated that movement to people can train at home. They want to work at home. They want the gym brought to themselves. Garden spaces, everything's become a lot more. People have become a lot more creative and inventive with how to use spaces at home, and the garden. Yeah, so.
Amazing. So when a client says they want a home gym, what does that typically mean to you?
Um, yeah, so to me, it means that they want to commit to additional fitness. So they want to be looking to improve their health and well-being. It means that they're maybe bringing in their family members. They want to create a positive change in their family. That's typically where I sort of see people.
Amazing. So let's kind of go on to the design aspects of it. What's your philosophy when it comes to designing a fitness or wellness space inside someone's home, or in your instance, so a gym in a tin, as you call it,
Yeah.
for someone?
Yeah, so I kind of you want to understand them. You want to listen to what they really want, and read between the lines and try and understand exactly their drives and motivations for what they're looking for, because that'll essentially help me design and give them what they maybe didn't think they needed
Hmm.
in a gym design. So it's very much about listening and asking the right questions at that beginning bit to understand the client best, really,
Okay.
and then using my background and my knowledge to give them the sort of the apparatus and the equipment in a way that they'll, them and their families will use it. So
Amazing. So, do you approach your designs or as more like a functional training area or as like a more part of the lifestyle kind of aesthetic?
yeah, it's certainly when you it's certainly sort of the functional
Okay.
aspect. I mean, a lot of my personal training is I look at the body as a whole, and you work holistically on the body and the
Yeah,
functional
absolutely.
movements. So a
100%.
big part of what I do. Also, because my spaces are we've limited space. You've got, you're limited with floor space in a container, as you could probably appreciate. So
Yeah.
being creative and being functional with free weights is a big part of sort of what I believe in, but also then what I decide when I'm specking out a gym for people, how it might look for them too, and what kind of equipment in there. But yeah, you have to be when you're designing, you have to be smart with your sort of spaces. So I tend to divide a shipping container generally our pod 20, which is
Hmm.
a 20-foot shipping container.
Yeah.
Sits nicely. It has three sections, which are 2 meter by 2 meter. So
Yeah.
you can almost think, well, what are you going to do in your section? So I typically have, you could have a free floor space for
Yeah.
free weights, benches, stretching. You then got a couple of cardio machines that you could go in one section, and then you've got a functional cable machine, functional trainer
Yeah.
cable machine
Yeah.
in another. So you can kind of think, well, pick and choose. You've got three spaces. How do you want to use them? And that's
That's a
very much how
fascinating way
I
of
go in.
that is a fascinating way of kind of approaching that because I've spoken to people that do similar things in terms of container conversions, and you're the first one to kind of say that we can divide it into three spaces and go. That's fascinating. I think that's a really good approach for the consumer and the customer because it gives them more option, I find.
Yeah, yeah, and also if it's going in someone's garden, they might want to consider using it as an office gym, an
Yeah,
office. One of those sections could be your work office, and then you have your cardio and a little strength section at the back. Yeah, so it
100%.
does sort of thinking as that you've got these three blocks, these three squares, helps people visualize what it might be and what they can essentially fit in there. So yeah, I like
Amazing.
that.
So you kind of touched on it there. So kind of what are the first like three things that you consider before starting to spec out and design someone's gym?
Um, well, they're what they want, but what they need,
Hmm.
similar to personal training, they come to me wanting fat loss, but I know they need certain things,
Yeah, yeah, of
like they
course.
need to improve their core strength or whatever I find in their assessments.
Yeah,
So they're not their wants and their needs, and then the third thing will be ultimately what can they get? What can I deliver of those? So how can I deliver it into a package? That will tick both of those boxes for them.
amazing. So how much does understand kind of like again going from what they want and what they need kind of leads on to this is what like how much does understanding the client's fitness habits or their personality how much does that come into your designs?
Yeah, huge amount. Yeah, yeah. If you want them to, ultimately, you want them to be using this space.
Of
So,
course.
understanding where they are on their fitness journey is important. They might come to you with, well, some people might come to you with bags of enthusiasm. I've got this vision in my mind that I'm going to be out there every day training. I'm going to be benching and I'm going to be spinning and all sorts. But actually, in reality, you're kind of thinking, okay, you might be into this for a month or not, you might
Yeah,
not be.
yeah,
So let's spec out this area so that it can be adaptable and grow
yeah,
with you. So you haven't just got a gym that's fixed in your garden and you're thinking, I don't want to use it all the time.
yeah,
It's a space that maybe you could convert slightly into something where you can use it as a multi-use area and it
amazing.
can grow with the customer that way. So yeah, it's got to
Perfect.
sort of
So
understand.
obviously, with your containers, generally, obviously with it being 20-foot containers, it's relatively short on space.
Mm.
So what are kind of some smart design solutions do you use for those smaller spaces?
Yeah, so the 20-foot shipping container, it's about 2 meters by 6 meters internal space. and you've got about 7 foot 10 inches of headroom. It's not too dissimilar, although it's a slightly narrower. It's not too dissimilar to a home room, right?
Yeah.
A normal
Yeah,
standard
yeah, of
rooms,
course, yeah.
maybe 3 meters by 3 meters, something like that. So if you want to use it for multiple exercises in there and lots of things, make it functional. I love putting stuff against the wall and keeping it away from the floor space. So maximize your floor space is a real key for me. So finding pieces of equipment that are slim, that can sit flush on the wall. Foldable squat racks are brilliant. So they go back on the wall, half squat racks. Functional cable machines that are slim in design that can be sat flush against the wall. Various wall bars and attachments where you can keep your weights off the floor. Your racks for your barbell and your bumper plates all off the floor, and then you can decide what you need to do, what you want, and you can pull it off the wall when you want it and put it back on.
So you're very keen on floor space.
Yeah. When it's a small area, keep the floor free as much as you can.
Amazing. So you mentioned about 10 minutes ago, within your 20-foot containers, you do a lot 2x2s. So you kind of divide it into 3. When designing all of your spaces, do you do that for all of them? So do you kind of do you use it as like a zoning period? So you have a cardio section. Do you do that for all of them, or is that just kind of client specific?
Initially I'll look at that as a zoning, but it is client specific. I led by the client with my knowledge and advice on what I think they would be best suited for them, and what we can physically put in there. A big commercial treadmill is a little bit tight for space, or an elliptical I imagine you do spaces for people that do go to your normal commercial gym and go, oh, that treadmill, that matrix treadmill that I use in the gym, I'd love to have that in my space. And you probably come back and say it might be a little bit too big, or maybe we can find a smaller one, a Horizon one, or whatever it might be. Do you do you have them conversations quite a lot? Yeah, I do. Yeah, and there are certain models that fit better than others. Yeah, the smaller home type stuff, but also I found a brand, the Water Rower, Water Rower and Nord. A lot of their equipment, the Water Rower is slightly smaller. They've got a curved running machine that is, again, it's neat and compact, and it sits in there. And then also what type of cardio equipment. So they might, ski ergs are very good because they can sit quite flush against the wall. You can bolt them.
Absolutely.
Rowing machines are fantastic because they can come onto their end and sit flush against the wall.
Yeah.
So choosing some smart pieces that can just be neatly tucked away. Spin bikes rather than your recumbent bike, for instance, is better.
So obviously, with you doing containers in the summer, I imagine they're quite warm, and in the winter, I imagine they're quite cold. So what kind of lighting, ventilation, that kind of stuff, heating? How do you kind of go around that?
So the lighting's a good point, and you get when someone says a shipping container, you think of a dark box, don't you? So it's totally not what these are about. So you imagine you've opened up the whole side to windows, so you've got this massive, you're overlooking wherever you plant it, so it floods in a ton of light. So light tends to not be a problem in the daytime. It feels like a welcome space. It's not oppressive and dark.
Yeah, of course.
And the insulation, the container is fully insulated, so it's almost as good as a sort of an outbuild. It's as good as an outbuilding probably in some cases. Then an air conditioning is fantastic. But for my personal one that I use for my personal training, we kick the doors open. We let the air through. I've got a fan in the summer that just circulates the air. In the winter, a simple infrared bar heater is great, and it just gives you enough to take the edge off it. Before long, you just want to be warming up in a warm space, and then
absolutely,
and then sort of kick it off when you're starting to sweat, because otherwise,
of course, I mean, even now, like when you get up and go to your normal commercial gym at the moment, and you're getting up at 7 a.m. and me personally, I don't really have a home space. So I get up in the morning, 7 a.m., go to the gym. I'm freezing until I get into that gym, start working out. And when you're 10 minutes in, you're like, okay, the jumper's got to come off now. So
Yeah.
naturally, I can imagine that's similar for the containers that you do.
Yeah, and then when you know you want it to be when there are enough barriers to doing exercise at home or wherever, you want the place to be a welcoming space, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to go into a dark, cold, damp space
No, of
with
course
no
not.
light. So you've got to make the place welcome. It's got to be a place that you feel motivated to go to and work out. Yeah, yeah,
Of course.
definitely.
So, with your PT experience, you'll be familiar, obviously, with people's fitness journeys are completely different from start to finish. So, well, not finished. No one ever really finishes, but you know what I mean. So, when they
Mm.
start to 5 years' time, people are lifting different weights, they're doing different workouts, they are working out in completely different ways. So, when you design your home spaces, do you do that with that kind of adaptability in mind? So, do you kind of do you design those spaces with the forefront of the mindfulness of, okay, well, in 3 years' time, it might look a little bit different, and we can easily convert that and change that over to then work with how your training's going then.
Yeah. I tend to. It's very similar with my personal training clients. You want to almost you also want to also spec it out for where they are now, but
Yeah.
given that they're on a journey, give it they give the provide them with the equipment that they can comfortably expand their fitness and their journey, carry them on the journey for a little longer, you know.
Hmm.
So my PT clients will come to me and say, well, I've got a couple of 2 kg dumbbells at home, I can use them. And I'm like, do you know what? I really think you should invest in some eights because they're
Yeah.
not gonna, you know, you maybe your twos when you started a way back are all right, but get yourself a pair of eights, and then
Yeah.
we can. They might be heavy now, but in a month's time, we'll really grow into them.
You'll be
So
thanking me
it's
for saying go for eights in a
exactly.
couple
So
of,
it's
yeah,
about
of course.
encouraging the customers for Gym in the Tin that yeah, you need to have that equipment ready for you there for in a few months or a year's time when you're sort of progressing there.
Do you use
Up towards.
adjustables?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
very good space saving, very, very good. Yeah, yeah.
So you're
I like
doing a
the
lot with
adjustable
adjustables.
dumbbells. They've served me really well over COVID when we were training outside.
Yeah.
Didn't need several sets. My only gripe with the adjustables is that you see if you've got a client that does only need 2 or 3 kilos, they've got this whacking long,
Yeah.
great sort of thing that's a bit cumbersome. And some of my clients are quite petite and they can be a bit. So I do have a few sets of smaller dumbbells just for those people that
For the
need them.
specifics.
Yeah,
Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
but the space saving, it's fantastic. Yeah, really clever.
Okay, so what kind of styles do you think that are currently trending in home gym design?
Um, I'm seeing like from my perspective, probably because I enjoy it as well. You see more of it. You know, the rule of law of attraction. But
Of
I'm
course.
seeing a lot of people that are in keen on the red light therapy,
Hmm.
but saunas as well. So infrared or just standard saunas and cold plunges and how they
Yeah.
can incorporate that into a gym space. Yeah,
So do
that
you
that's
so
that's
when
where I
so
think.
interestingly then, so when you spec out, have you spec'd out many gyms in a tins and potentially had a sauna or cold plunge attached to them? Is that something
Not
you do?
yet, but I'm looking into it. I'm looking into it. Yeah, yeah. I think the container could be a great vessel for a sauna. Yeah, yeah, it's for sure. It's got legs. You can drop, well, not literally, but you can drop it off pretty much anywhere. And yeah, it's a sealed container, so it would suit it quite well, I think. Yeah.
Nice. So what
Mm.
are there any design features that are being consistently asked about by clients?
Um, Yeah, just one in particular that struck me recently. A load of people have liked it's the lighting, how to
Okay.
light the gym, and I think that's you've people are a lot more creative than just having some a strip
Yeah,
light
yeah,
in
yeah.
their gym. They want something which will give them the right kind of mood lighting. Obviously, LEDs are very popular now, and I'm seeing a lot of people request some quite cool sort of hexagon beehive type design lights
Nice. Yeah,
on the
yeah, yeah. I
ceiling.
mean, my
Yeah,
commercial gym's got the same. They're quite good for just general lighting in the room, in the space, for sure.
yeah, absolutely, and they look quite modern. Yeah, so I'm getting a lot of those, and then backlit. So having a space where the LED strip is hidden from the wall,
Yeah, yeah.
from behind the wall, so it
Nice.
creates some downlight or some nice sort of uplight.
Up like
That
nice.
that can provide a good. So also you got to think like when you're lying on the floor facing up or benching, you don't want a spotlight stuck in
No,
your
that's
face, do
true.
you? So
Yeah.
so having that kind of ambient light that's projected up or just softer but more broader is yeah, definitely better. So that's sort of where I'm seeing people spec out a bit more design
So
now.
nothing kind of consistently when it comes to equipment.
Um, Not particularly at the moment. No. I have seen this is more of a general trend, and I'm sure you've probably seen the same that free weights are becoming
Yeah,
a much more
massive.
popular.
Yeah.
The sort of the worry of people's worries and opinions have changed over the last few years, and I think a lot more people are now encouraged to use the free weights
Yeah.
from media and scientific studies that have been coming out for lots of the lots of age groups should be using the free
Yeah.
weights, the barbells. So that's something that people always kind of like say now is like, can I have free weight and bumper plates, please?
Yeah.
Barbell and bumper plates. Similar to like the creatine, how creatine was a sort of bodybuilder only thing 20 years ago, and now your
Yeah.
granddad's using it. So
I've got creatine in every protein shake.
yeah, it is. It's everywhere. So yeah,
It's bonkers. Do you know what? It's funny. I was actually having a conversation about creatine over the Christmas period. Someone asked me, "Should I take it?" And I was like, "To be honest with you, I mean, I was quite bad for being in and out of the gym in my youth, in my younger days. But now, like I've for the last kind of year, I've been pretty consistent. Well, by pretty consistent, I have been consistent, and I wasn't doing any kind of protein or any creatine or anything until about 6 months ago, and I definitely noticed an advantage with creatine for sure, for sure. And I kind of when having that conversation, I kind of said, look, just try it and see because I've spoken to people about that like creatine and they've said "No, I've not noticed anything. It just kind of it just it was a weight gainer, and I was like, I don't know, I haven't noticed that. It's fascinating how we all have different responses to it. Anyway, yeah,
yeah. I think yeah, you're right, and I think it's worth that people just try themselves and see if it
100%.
if it's comfortable with them, then use it. Yeah, I've no sort of yeah, no trouble with that. There's a load of supplements out there with that you've got to be careful where you choose your creatine from.
Yeah.
That's all, haven't you? So some of them reportedly have something that's creatine in and don't have any at all. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
worth picking the right
we won't
brand.
touch on that.
No, no,
Let's stay
right.
safe. Right, going on to like collaboration. When you're working with like a gym equipment brand, what does effective collaboration look like to you?
Just a good line of communication with the brands. Yeah, making sure they understand what I want or what the client wants, um, and can help design or help to pick out the right pieces of equipment that that are right for the space we've got. Yeah. So
It's amazing how easy it is just to have a good working relationship in it.
oh, totally. Yeah. If you understand they both you get each other, it's much easier
Yeah.
to yeah, straight away. It's clean, it's quicker, it's improves the end product because they understand straight away what you want and they can deliver it for you. So yeah.
And
Yeah.
how early in the design process do you think the fitness equipment should be specified?
Well, for me, it depends. In the build of the container gym, it needs to be quite early on because if something was to be fixed to the wall, which you can do with these, which is great, the steel is strong enough, the frame is strong enough for you to fix things, quite heavy things. That needs to be considered early on because you've got to weld or build the structure in a certain way so that it can take the load at a certain point.
Yeah, it makes sense for sure.
We've got a boxing bag, for instance, hung up in one, and you have to weld in a hard spot where the boxing bag attachment goes into. Likewise, if you had a squat rack, you'd want to make sure that the fixings were secured of the squat rack into additional steel work. So getting that very, very at the beginning, the design nailed early on is really important, because otherwise they're going to be ply lining and plastering the inside and doing the electrics, and then you're going to tell them, oh no, I need a hard spot
100%.
back there. So trying to getting the client to spec to the very last, where do you want the sockets and how many sockets and at what level do you want? They really need to envisage that gym right down to the finite details, so that the delivery is much smoother. Yeah.
Amazing. Right. So final couple of questions. Where do you see the home fitness kind of heading in the next few years?
Oh, that's a good one. Well, I think it's going to be about wellness. So it won't just
spa-like kind of thing.
Spa-like, yeah. You're going to have sort of looking at the multi sort of holistic use. So it's not just about getting fit or pumping some iron. So it's got to have everything. I think technology is going to play a big part. And more and more people will rely on that technology to deliver their results. But it could be quite exciting. It could be.
I think AI is going to have a massive part to play as well in a lot of what we do, and it's going to be really, really interesting to see how that kind of converts over.
You get these. Have you seen these Pilates reformer classes now? And the video, they're just on video. So you're standing in a reformer.
Yeah.
And there's a video wall in front of you. It's very similar like that, and the AI could probably pick you up now and
100%
cue you. So you go in there and you've got your personal trainer inside your home gym already.
It's
ready to go, giving you the questions.
I would agree that I think that's kind of where it's going to go for sure. Amazing. Right, last question. So if budget and space were no issue and you could design a container as big and as bold as you like, what would yours look like?
Yeah, so I'm gonna talk to you about this. Location setting is really important for me, because being in the right location is inspirational, makes me feel good, it's motivational. So firstly, it would have to be nestled on the side of a Swiss mountain in the Alps.
Nice.
So it's snow covered, it's buried into the side of the mountain, snow covered in winter, lush green fields with flowers in the summer. So that's nice. My essential. It would have to have a plunge pool. It'd have to have a sauna. It'd have to have some red light therapy, oxygen chamber. It would probably be a proper holistic place. I'd have everything in there. I think I would. Yeah, I really would. This would be a big container.
You've really thought about this. I could tell container. You have seriously put some thought into this.
Yeah. No, it would be lush. Views, got to be glass everywhere, massive views. And I'd have to have a coffee machine somewhere. My gym has a coffee machine. It's got to have a nice coffee machine.
I'm assuming you've also built a house by as well in the Swiss Alps.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
I was going to say, well, if that's a long way to just get your helicopter for a workout.
Well, yeah, that's true. The house would be somewhere close by for sure. Yeah, amazing. Just up the mountain a little bit.
Yeah. just up the mountain with all the Swiss people just enjoying your skiing every day. What we would do to win the lottery, yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be nice. Yeah.
Right, Matt. Absolute pleasure having you on. Tell everyone where they can find you.
Great, thank you. Find me, look me up, www.gyminatin.com or theenergy.coach for my personal training.
We'll make sure we put your links in the description for anyone that wants to find you.
Great.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you for coming on, and we'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, thanks very much. Cheers, Jay.
Amazing.